Hello, beautiful people. Vlad from Synaptic Schism here, and we have done quite a bit in the previous episodes. We created buses for everything. We created a mix bus. We created effects for reverbs, and we added all of the tracks to the buses and the effects to the mix bus. And we also treated the mix bus. So we did the initial processing that I was looking forward to achieve in the mix bus. So now we are going to move directly into actual mixing of the buses. In this case, we are going to handle the drum bus. So it's important to establish that a lot of these instruments are VSTs, and therefore their sound is actually pretty good by default. Okay, so if we solo the drums, we will listen to this, which is a really good sound already, right? So I just want this sound to be where I want it to be, and I feel that it lacks a little bit of body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some saturation to it. I'm going to use the Brit console, and the reason why I'm going to use the Brit console is because it's very punchy and it gives a lot of body to the kick drum, for instance. So let me show you. I don't want any crosstalk. So with the default settings, I'm going to bypass it, and the result is the following. So without the Brit console saturation, and now with, it's just different, you know. It gains a lot of body, it's aggressive, it's punchy, right? And it sounds really cool. So I'm not going to do a lot more with this. My objective moving forward is to guarantee that the kick and the bass are working together, and that the snare and the guitars are working together. So let's just start with that. With the kick, I'm going to just solo the kick, and I'm going to solo the bass, okay? So they are working well together. The bass is a little bit hot. Just shaving off 1 dB here. And I feel that the kick doesn't have that click. It needs a little bit more click. So I'm going to put an EQ on it and just try to find that click. Not too much, just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit more. Try to understand if this is the frequency. Can you hear it? Just when I solo the frequency, we can just see just that. It sounds pretty cool. Now, I want to be sure that the bass is not going too much into the territory of the kick. I want the low end to be mostly the kick. So I'm going to try, I don't know if I'm going to stick with this, but I'm going to try to remove a little bit of the low end of the bass without taking out the fundamentals and the body of the bass, and leaving a little bit more room for the kick. So let's try that. So too thin, right? Actually, I think I prefer it without the EQ, to be honest. So let me try to just shave. I kind of prefer it without EQ. I'm not going to cut anything on the bass. I think it's fine like this. So I'm just going to remove this from the bass. Let's listen again, just to kick in the bass. Maybe the bass now needs it a little bit more. Maybe not too much. Okay, I'm happy with how these two are working together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the two tracks and I'm going to add both to a VCA. So a VCA is a channel that controls the volume of the two in a nutshell. So I'm going to call this kick plus bass. And what happens now in context, I'm just going to unsolo everything. So what this allows me to do is to control the kick and the bass at the same time. So ideally, moving forward, I will not want to change the bass or the kick individually, but the two of them together. Okay, so let's listen in context. And actually, I want to give it just a little bit more. Not too much. Let's listen to a different part of the song. The problem here is that the guitars are a little bit too loud. So for now, I'm going to stick with this for the kick and bass, and I'm going to handle the guitars and the snare. So to start with, and because I feel that the guitars are a little bit too loud, I'm going to like rough mix the guitars. Actually, just going to take the average down a little bit because I feel that it's too much and I'll handle it later. Or I'm just going to mute it. Okay, so if you listen to this, the guitars are the ballpark of what I want, but if you listen to the snare is like engulfed in the middle of everything, right? It's not getting too much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the snare with the guitars, okay? So I'm going to solo the snare and the guitars. Okay. The snare needs a little bit more love, right? However, if you recall from previous videos, I said that the snare was peaking too high and that was getting in the way of the bus compression. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to clip the snare. I'm just going to shave off like the really top part of it. I don't want to shave so much that it starts distorting, okay? Okay, so I just removed like just the peaks. So now I can take a little bit higher. Okay, now in context. So the snare is okay with the guitar. So if we put this again, it's fine. But in the mix, it gets lost a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an EQ to give it just a little bit more presence. And I will be doing this with a shelf, so just trying to get all of those frequencies. Once hard to do the thing that I want to do, so not doing anything really. Okay, I'll try to do, usually I don't use Pro EQ, but I'll do my best to try to achieve the result that I want. Well, it's better. Okay, it's a little bit more present, but I need more of the click of it. Right now, because the high frequencies are higher, it has a little bit more sizzle, but the actual like skin of it is not there. So I'll try to EQ that also. Let me just find that frequency specifically where I want it to play. So here is too high. Okay, let's see in context how this works. Okay, it's too loud now, so I'll just... Okay, let's A-B. Without the shelf. Yeah, I'm going to keep both. I think I'm even going to take off a little bit of volume. I also don't like all of this here. It's getting too much in the way of the bass and the kick. Yeah, I'm happy with this. So now the snare and the guitars, same thing. So the snare and the guitars are going to a VCA so that I can control the two of them together like I'm doing with the kick. And the bass I want to do with the snare and the guitars. So what I'm able to do obviously is this. So taking out the guitar and the snare, or putting a lot more of it, okay? I'm just going to keep it at 0 dB because unlike the kick and bass, I'm actually happy with that volume. Okay, and this is for the most part the processing I'll do in this song for the drums. And the reason why there's very little processing is threefold. So number one, the VST already has a really good sound and it's heavily processed, so it doesn't need that much processing to sound good. The second one is that for the sake of the whole track, most of the work was already done in the mix bus. That's why we are doing a top-down approach. And the third one is that we added that specific Brit console saturation to the drum bus, which gave it the body that I was looking for. If the track was a little bit drier, I would probably not even add because the whole processing of the VST instrument was already good. So we are done with the drums. We created the VCA channels to control those two pairs because I want them to interact together. And in the next episode, I will be processing specifically the guitars so that they are gluing with the rest of the mix. I hope you enjoyed it and this was helpful, and until the next episode, bye bye.